I would like to give hands-on, look over the shoulder, this is how I do this. These are the colors I use to do that. But there's another aspect of my work that I would like to stress that has got less to do with the actual mechanics of applying paint to a canvas, and that is releasing the inner child. It's more of an attitudinal thing. There's this funny story. I think it was some little girl was, doing a portrait of, Jesus or something, or maybe it was an angel. I forget the story, but the teacher came up and asked her, what are you drawing? And she says, well, this is Jesus, or something like that. And the teacher says, well, nobody knows what Jesus looks like. And the little girl says, well, they do now. You gotta love that. The work of the children's drawings and stuff are so refreshing. They're so direct, immediate. They're so perfect because no one has told them you really can't draw. So it's like, hey, there's a table, there's a glass of milk there, and here's Mom in an apron, and it's glorious. We lose that over time because people tell us you really aren't doing it. A lot of artists, I think, get turned away when they're in grade school and stuff because people say you're no good at what you think you're doing. You know, that's not right. That doesn't look like grandma or grandpa or whomever. Doesn't, So they're told, and the sad thing is that they believe them. So that inner intuitive attitude about slinging paint and going, you know what, I'm gonna put purple there and I don't care. It may be absolutely wrong, but what the heck? There's no law against it. And so you do it. That whatever I can do to help me achieve what I'm the ultimate, and that's never the one I'm working on. It's the ultimate is always the next one that I'm going to do, is what I'm all about. And I want to do that and I want to impart that kind of attitude to anyone that's willing to listen, that immediacy, that directness, that naivety that kids have when they approach something. We've got to rekindle that in ourselves. Some of my more intuitive pieces, I have embarked on this thing where I've abandoned sketching. I don't sketch and work it through because it was too much like my commercial experience. It was like I was creating a sketch and then bringing it through to the finish, and the finish looked just like the sketch, and there was no adventure there. There was no surprise. There was no excitement. So I started just throwing paint down and moving it around, playing with it, and building on what the paint was doing. That takes you into directions that you never would have gone if you had worked this whole thing out ahead of time. Don't get me wrong, it's riskier. It's got failure written all over it. But when you fail, you learn. And it's the most direct way of learning I can assure you is when you fail on a painting, but you work through that. You learn and you overcome that, and sometimes you take that painting and paint over it. I think there was a painting of Picasso's that was x-rayed, and there were 3 paintings underneath that painting. I think it was Camille Pissarro that actually set up his paints in a museum that had his piece on the wall, and he was going to correct it until the proper authorities told him he can't do that. And he goes, why? This is my thing. Anyway, It's letting your child loose is an attitudinal thing, much more than a technical thing.